And May 21st, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted South African President Cyril Ramaphosa at the White House for a highly charged Oval Office meeting. The encounter, intended to reset strained bilateral relations, quickly escalated when Trump accused South Africa of perpetrating a genocide against white farmers, a claim widely debunked by experts and South African officials. Trump presented a video and articles as evidence, suggesting mass killings and land seizures targeting white South Africans. Ramaphosa firmly rejected these allegations, emphasizing that such views were not government policy and that violence in South Africa predominantly affects black citizens. The meeting also touched on trade, investment, and the upcoming G20 summit. Despite the tension, lighter moments surfaced involving South African golf champions and a gift of a golf course photo book. This confrontation follows a pattern of Trump using the Oval Office to publicly challenge foreign leaders, as seen in his previous meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Analysts warn that such tactics could deter other world leaders from engaging with the U.S. The diplomatic relationship between South Africa and the United States has experienced significant shifts in recent years, marked by both collaborative initiatives and escalating tensions. Historical and ongoing cooperation. Historically, South Africa and the U.S. have maintained strong ties, particularly in areas such as trade, health, and education. The African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, has been a cornerstone of this partnership, granting South Africa preferential access to U.S. markets. In 2024, bilateral trade reached approximately $21 billion, with South Africa exporting about $14 billion worth of goods to the U.S. Additionally, U.S. support to the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief PEPFAR has been instrumental in combating HIV/AIDS in South Africa. The 14th U.S.-South Africa Annual Bilateral Forum in October 2024 underscored commitments to areas such as health, education, science and technology, and youth empowerment. Both nations express a shared vision for a peaceful and prosperous future, emphasizing the importance of continued collaboration. Despite the long-standing partnership, recent developments have strained bilateral relations. In February 2025, President Donald Trump initiated a refugee program, granting asylum to white South Africans, particularly Afrikaners, citing alleged systemic violence and racial discrimination in South Africa. The South African government strongly opposed this move, with President Cyril Ramaphosa rejecting the premise and asserting that such claims did not meet the criteria for refugee status under international law. Tensions further escalated during a May 2025 meeting between Presidents Trump and Ramaphosa. President Trump presented a video alleging genocide against white farmers in South Africa, a claim that the South African government has consistently denied. President Ramaphosa refuted these allegations, emphasizing that such views were not government policy and highlighting the broader context of violence affecting black citizens in South Africa. These events have led to diplomatic repercussions, including the expulsion of South Africa's U.S. ambassador and the suspension of key U.S. aid programs, notably PEPFAR, which has had a significant impact on HIV treatment services in South Africa. Prospects for future engagement. Despite these challenges, both nations have expressed a commitment to stabilizing and strengthening their relationship. Deputy President Paul Mashatile emphasized the importance of collaborative efforts to address shared priorities, including economic development and health, acknowledging the need for South Africa to bolster its own interventions in light of reduced U.S. support. Looking ahead, the upcoming 15th Annual Bilateral Forum presents an opportunity for both countries to reaffirm their commitment to mutual respect and cooperation, focusing on areas such as trade, health, and regional stability. Continued dialogue and engagement will be crucial in navigating the complexities of this multifaceted relationship. In a tense Oval Office meeting on May 21st, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump confronted South African President Cyril Ramaphosa with claims of a white genocide against farmers in South Africa. Trump presented a video featuring controversial clips of political figures like Julius Malema and former President Jacob Zuma, suggesting that white South Africans face systemic violence and persecution. He also referenced the U.S. refugee program offering asylum to Afrikaners, stating that thousands were seeking refuge in the U.S. President Ramaphosa firmly rejected these allegations, emphasizing that such views were not government policy and that crime in South Africa predominantly affects black citizens. He clarified that Malema, featured in the video, had been expelled from the ruling African National Congress, ANC, in 2011 and did not represent the government's stance. Ramaphosa also highlighted that South Africa's land reform policies aimed to address historical injustices and were not intended to target any racial group. The meeting, intended to reset strained bilateral relations, also touched on trade, investment, and the upcoming G20 summit. Despite the tension, lighter moments surfaced involving South African golf champions and a gift of a golf course photo book. This confrontation follows a pattern of Trump using the Oval Office to publicly challenge foreign leaders, as seen in his previous meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Analysts warn that such tactics could deter other world leaders from engaging with the U.S.